For ISTE Standard 1B, contribute to the planning, development, communication, implementation, and evaluation of technology-infused strategic plans at the district and school level. I was not involved in the creation of the strategic plan. However, through several classes, specifically 7300 and 7700, I was able to develop lesson plans that aligned with the school's vision that, learning takes place in a positive environment that includes consistency and structure, that all students have opportunities to learn and be successful, and finally, that when they're engaged in rigorous, authentic learning activities that target a variety of learning styles, students will gain knowledge and skill to attain personal and professional success. And I am a strong believer in this, that all students learn different ways. And so my contribution to implementing this was, again, through developing activities through the REACH program. I mentioned this website that I created that addressed learning styles and different study skills to support students through the REACH program initiative that our school is taking part in. But more specifically, through these classes, I developed lessons that implemented a variety of instructional approaches, such as universal design for learning. This is a wonderful strategy that I have been advocating for in our school, as I've been doing one-on-one mentoring support with teachers and helping them find different ways to assess students instead of just the traditional paper and pencil tests. And we look at what's working and what doesn't work for the teachers. And on one instance where I was mentoring Miss White, she was struggling to find some ways to keep the students' attention in her class. And I asked her, so what is working successfully? And she said, what's working successfully is the students are really engaged on the days of the labs. And so we had an opportunity to discuss strategies that she could do to get the kids more hands-on and adopting more of these authentic learning activities instead of just memorizing the material. And I was able to give her several different websites and show her a variety of learning tools like ThingLink, and we had discussed that perhaps the next time they're modeling something, she could use a ThingLink or have the students create a ThingLink where they take an image and add tabs to it or add instructional information. So this is an example of a ThingLink, and is what I suggested to Ms. White, our science teacher who's new, and she would create maybe a cell or some type of periodic table, something that she was doing with the students that involves science, and give them the opportunity to create more information. So you have an image and you place dots around the image where it asks the students to read more. So here, as I'm going through this with the Anthem unit that we're reading in English, and I give them information to click more, and this would open up another website where they're going to be able to get the graphic novel of this. So I create them for the students, and then they participate in going through it. So this is a great way to hit different types of learners, and I've shared this information with the other teachers at school through a Google Classroom that created of technology tools. So this is part of that universal design for learning, because we're giving multiple ways to represent the information, whether it's from a video or reading materials, manipulatives. We're asking the teachers to find alternatives to the traditional lecture, getting the kids up and moving, and it's putting more emphasis on student accessing the information instead of just passively receiving it. And this is an important strategy and shift in the way that we're thinking as teachers. And we're really asking ourselves, how can we best get this information to students? And some of the strategies that I've used, again, teaching them how to research is through this project, a poetry research project. The kids did the traditional gathering of biographical data and researching poems. But then, instead of having them do a speech in front of the class, we had them record it, which means that they could do their best take. And so they're only turning in their best work. And this really helps the kids who are maybe too shy to get up in front of other classmates. So this was an important alternative strategy to getting up and speaking in front of their peers. Another way that we show about learning different ways is that giving the students opportunities to access the information in a variety of ways. Now, this is a lesson plan that was created as part of 7700 to reach students who have a variety of educational needs. This was students with exceptionalities. And this is a lesson plan that's helping make Shakespeare a little more accessible. And we start with the more fun part of Shakespeare, which is Shakespearean insults. And students are given information showing tools on how to research, and they learn through a fun way of translating Shakespearean insults of how to break down the Shakespearean knowledge or Shakespearean language. So this is a fun way that makes Shakespeare a little less intimidating for the students. For this Shakespearean lesson plan, I use one of my favorite tools, which is a hyperdocument. And students, after they've done they're introduced to the prologue of Shakespeare, which is a little more complicated. So we go through this prologue activity, and so this is a portion of the hyperdocument I created, and I've been advocating again for other teachers to use hyperdocuments, and this is going to help them adapt to some of these technologies as they put them inside the hyperdocuments. And I ask the students to go through and do little activities. I give them graphics. It helps character chart. They have cartoon versions of this. They have live action versions of videos. And so all sorts of activities to help them understand what they're learning. And this is a really important tool that educators can use because it's giving the students access to information in a variety of ways, and that's been one of the biggest things that I've been pushing for, especially with the mentoring that I've been doing, is to show the teachers that there's more than one way the students can access information.